Today I want to tell you about the Hesse. It was a steamboat ferry that took people from Brunswick to St. Simons to Darien. The Hesse is a sister ship to the Emmeline, which also served as a ferry boat too. The Hesse was owned by Frank Aiken, who lived on St. Simons Island, and he used to walk to the pier every morning to board the ferry. The Hesse started operating in 1888, and it traveled sometimes to Cumberland Island, from Brunswick to Gascon Bluff at the sawmills. Sometimes it stopped at Fort Frederica and then went straight to Darien. The Hesse, along with the Emmeline, operated in the Steamboat Company. The Hesse, along with the Emmeline, operated in the Brunswick, St. Simons, Darien Steamboat Company. Hesse got so popular, it took over the route from Brunswick to Darien completely. Frank Aiken was the president of the St. Simons Transit Company, and his vice president was J.B. Wright. The Hesse also stopped at the Gascon Bluff, which was the St. Simons sawmill, and also stopped at Fort Frederica. J.B. Wright was the manager of the Darien line of the Steamboat Company. Hesse, like many ferry boats, also carried cargo along with passengers. The offices for the Hesse, along with the Emmeline, was in Brunswick, Georgia. Hesse had a dock at the Darien waterfront that was 120 feet long near the Pelager Packing Company on the east side of where the Darien Bridge is today in the Darien River. This is the schedule that the Hesse used to run from Brunswick to Darien on Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. It left Brunswick at 7:30 a.m., arrived in Darien at 11:30. It will leave Darien at 2 p.m. and arrive in Brunswick at 6 p.m. You got to also remember the Hesse stopped at different places besides just Darien and Brunswick. They stopped at Fort Frederica, they stopped at Gascon Bluff, and wherever else it was needed at the time. The first captain of the Hesse was Captain C.E. Arnold. Captain A.L. Allen succeeded Captain Arnold as the captain of the Hesse. The Hesse operated in the area for 3 decades. By 1890, the Hesse was running 6 days a week from Brunswick to Darien. In 1914, the rail service from Darien to Brunswick opened up, and it started the beginning and the end for the steamboat Hesse. By 1918, the Hesse was out of business. What mainly killed the Hesse, along with the Emmeline and other steamboats, was the invention of the automobile in bridges and highways. People started using the vehicles and the highways instead of the steamboats because they were faster. The final nail in the coffin for the Hesse and the Emmeline was the opening of the St. Simons Causeway in the late 1920s. There also was a very popular restaurant called the Emmeline and Hesse that was located right before you got to St. Simons on Lanier Island near Morningside Marina. The Emmeline Hesse closed in 1993.